What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Maze. It's EMB.
And it's your girl, Jaysha.
And you are going to want to grab a notebook because we're going to drop some gems on y'all today. We have the one and only MaK Parks. Michaela, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? People just call me MaK.
And call you MaK? I bet. MaK. So we like to start our segment. Well, we like to start our show with a segment called, just how is your week going? So we're going to start with Jaysha. How's your week going so far?
My week has been flying by. It was filled with a lot of kind of new discoveries and thought processing, but it's been going pretty good. I'm looking forward for this week to come. And you?
My week has been going pretty good so far. It's also very quick. So I can't believe it's Sunday already, but we're gonna jump into another week and get going. MaK, how's your week been?
Long, actually. My week has not been flying by. My week has been going through it. I'm okay. I'm doing well. Like, I'm blessed. So that's all I can really ask for.
That's a blessing. So I'm going to jump right into it. Do you mind just telling us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
So my name is MaK. I'm a content creator, a creative director, and I have my own rolling paper company. It's called SMAK'D. I kind of do a little bit of everything. I've worked in entertainment since 2018. I started working my sophomore year of college. Kind of just been getting my foot in the door in like several spaces and just learning different parts of the industry. And finding my place and what makes me happy and like how I want to grow my personal like MaK Parks brand. So that's what I've been focused on the past year and a half, probably.
So did you always know that you wanted to start a business? Did you always know you wanted to start the MaK Parks brand, or did it kind of just...
Absolutely not. I actually fell into this. Like everything that I do honestly came off the strength of me that like just being in Atlanta. I went to a pretty like high ranked school for high school. It was pretty academically solid. I knew I wanted to go to college all 4 years. I just didn't know exactly where. I wanted to go to Harvard since I was 6. Like that was always like my dream school. When I got to be 16, 17, I started going to like USA water polo camps. I had met the coach at Harvard and me and him kind of like built up a communication through emails. And I started going to like specific Harvard camps. And that was my dream. I wanted to play water polo competitively at the college level. And it was either going to be Harvard or Brown. Those are like my top 2 choices. It didn't work out that way. They wanted me to get a certain score on my ACT at the time, and I couldn't break the number. I think it was a 30, if I could remember accurately. I got a 27 or 8.
Okay.
But the way the test dates go is once you take the test for that national test date, it's not going to be another one for like another month or 2 months or whatever that schedule or calendar is for that year. Oh. I didn't have time to take the test again before the actual application was due for the school. So I kind of was informed that like I could apply still, but they wouldn't be able to push my application the same way that like they would have been able to if I got that score on the ACT. So I kind of went into like a panic mode because basically everything I thought was my plan for life was kind of like falling apart a little bit. And so I think I Googled like top HBCUs because I like the idea kind of started to sound more and more like appealing. It always seemed nice to be around like-minded people. I went to a predominantly white and Asian high school. So I was the only Black girl graduating my class of 684. Like I was literally the only full Black girl. There was probably like 2 or 3 other like mixed girls, but it was only me. And there were 684 in my class. And so I kind of always felt like not out of place, but it was just like my normalcy. Like I kind of grew up around that. So coming to Spelman was an experience, but it was something that I think I needed. And then once I came out to Atlanta, everything just started falling like dominoes. Like everything just started lining into place. And like I'm where I'm at now, I'm really off of it just kind of happened like this. I'm happy it happened like this because I couldn't see it any other way now. But at the time, I was devastated. Like, I thought my whole life was over in 2016 because I didn't know what the fuck I was about to do. But
it's so crazy that, like, at 16, 18, you think, like, I got to do this by this time. And it's like, nigga, we ain't really even getting nowhere.
Yeah,
we just getting started.
Yeah, not really, but I've been like that my whole entire life, honestly. Like I always knew I was like destined to like do something amazing. Like ever since I was like 5 or 6, like I always knew like normal wasn't like really cutting it. Like I always knew I wanted more. So I mean, it's working out.
How did you get into water polo? That's very unique.
I'm always trying to get out of stuff when I learn like new tasks or like skills. So I played softball and soccer growing up. So I knew I wanted to play one of those sports in high school. I didn't end up playing either one in high school. So my freshman year biology teacher was the water polo coach. So one day I was like in class, 0 period, like 7 a.m. And I was like, I can't believe I have to do PE. Like in California, I don't know if it's all the schools in California, but like in my school district or like in the area that I went to school in, doing PE in high school was like, like you don't play a sport. Like it was not,
Really?
yeah, but you had to do at least 2 semesters of a physical activity, I think, to graduate. So if you didn't play a sport, you had to do PE for 2 semesters. So since softball was a spring sport, they told me that I had to do PE my first semester. And so I didn't want to do PE. So I was like, what sport can I get placed into? I think basketball was full. Every other sport was like full for that season. And so my teacher / coach, he was like, well, just sign up for girls water polo. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm Black. Like, And then I went home and I told my mom about it. And she was just like, well, like, do what you want to do. Like figure it out. So I told him I would try it. I took swimming lessons when I was younger. I've always been able to swim. So that wasn't really an issue. And then I've always been like naturally like, I could pick up like a sport very easily. Like I've always been like pretty like athletic. I have good hand-eye coordination. Like I could pick up pretty much anything. And so once I got in the pool, it was kind of like second nature. And then after that first season, I got asked to join the club team that one of the high school coaches at my school was coaching on. And so I think that first year I went to Junior Olympics. Yeah. Like it was just like a natural type thing. Like, oh, like
High flex.
Yeah. And I'm like, I have long arms and stuff too. I was a goalie. So it kind of was just like, yeah.
That's just your thing.
Nah, that's
so how was it? Like you went to Spelman, it was a different world, it was a whole new shebang. How did you find yourself getting into the content creation and just creative directing world?
Okay, so I actually I was friends with a girl at the time who she was, how do I even fucking word this?
Say it how you feel.
Cut all this out. Okay.
Say it how you feel.
But so my first week in Atlanta, actually, I'd never seen Linux before. So I was telling the girls that I had met on campus, like, I want to go to the mall. Like, I want to see what it looks like. The rappers always talk about it in songs and stuff. So we end up going to Linux. This is like my first week in Atlanta, like ever. And so we're walking around like the mall and stuff. Some guy who went to Morehouse, his name's Aaron, I think. He's from the DMV.
Aaron from DC.
You know who I'm talking about, the light eyes? Okay, so
I think she was talking about Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah, I think she's talking about
Aaron. No, not Aaron from DC. Aaron from DC, he's brown skin. I'm talking about the light skin Aaron.
Nope.
No. Okay, anyway, so he had approached me and my friends in the mall and was just like, Thug's in the mall today. And I was like, what? Like, no way. Like, where's Young Thug at? And so we kind of started like walking around a little bit. And then we end up going into, what store was it? It was like Urban Outfitters or like one of those just like random stores. And we were just like looking around. And some guy had came up to us and was just like, what's your name? Like normal Atlanta stuff. But the thing is, I'm from the suburbs. Like I'm from Orange County. I'm not used to seeing a bunch of stuff. He had face tats. He was wearing Tim's in August. And it just looked like a scary sight a little bit. Like it was just something was just off about it. And he was like, pull up to the studio tonight. Like me and my brother, we've been like Atlanta stuff, just talking fast. And I hadn't adjusted to how people talk out here yet either. So I'm literally just looking at him talk like, what? And so I was like, yeah, like, I'll let you know. Like, and I'm trying to like curve him a little bit. He said, you're not finna fuck with me and my brother. And I was like, no, he checking out right now. And we looked up and Thug is at the register checking out. I'm like, this is so Atlanta. Like, I like couldn't really believe it.
That's such a random.
I never even talked to him again after that. That's what's so crazy about this story is the fact that like I never saw him again or talked to him again after that. The girl that I was with, she ended up becoming cool with some other guy that was in like their camp or whatever, and they would invite us to like come and just like hang out or whatever. Just normal, like I was 18 in Atlanta for the first time, just around type shit. And so one day I was in the studio and Young Thug had asked me if I knew who that was that I was talking to. And I didn't know who it was. I've always been like kind of social. Like I just feel like I just naturally talk in certain spaces because you never know who you're gonna meet or like
Right.
what they do or anything. I'm just like networking naturally. And so I was a political science major at Spelman, and I was telling him about just how I wanted to get into entertainment law. And I was like, I just feel like every other form of law is kind of like boring, but I want to make my parents happy because they wanted me to have a respectable, you know, career like doctor, lawyer, finance, like just do something that, you know, that they could be proud of.
Money, be safe, be secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to him about that, and Thug had asked me if I knew who he was, and I had told him, no, like, what do you do? And my boss was like, I'm a director, I make music videos. And so Thug starts name dropping like projects, and I was just like, I didn't know what he was talking about because all the projects Thug was naming like weren't the actual names for the projects. Like he was like, he made white tea, and I'm like, what's white tea? And he was like, T-shirt by Migos. I was like, oh, okay. Like it was just like opposite flipped. And so me and my boss ended up, I told him I wanted to shadow him next time he was in Atlanta. I wanted to go shadow him on set. And he told me that I think at the time he wasn't in Atlanta too much. And he was like, I'll let you know when I like come back out here. He told me to get his number from Zoe. I didn't get it that day. I didn't get it. And then the next day we ended up going back to the studio again, and my boss was back. And I was just like, oh, nice to like see you again. Like I didn't get your number. Like I want to stay in contact. So I ended up actually getting his number from him directly, not from the stylist that was in the studio. And so I ended up just like basically just keeping up with him. Like whenever I would see projects drop online or like Twitter would go trending with certain videos, I would like text him and be like, oh, I saw the video. Like, that's fine. Next time I'm in Atlanta, like I want to come to set. And then one day he had called me and he was like, I'm starting my own production company. Like, would you want to like run social media for my company? I was just like, yeah, like, of course. And so once he kind of gave me the platform to do that, I kind of just would go on set, get behind the scenes, look for behind the scenes photographers, tell them what type of like content that I wanted like shot. Just that was like the start of it in 2018. Like my first project I think I ever worked on. And what's funny is they never ended up dropping the project, I don't think. I think they dropped it like 2 years later. It might not even be out. I have to go back and look. But it was Lil Yachty, Migos, and Gucci Mane on one song together. The song ended up coming out, but it was like years after the fact. And I don't know if the visual was ever released. But that was the first project I ever worked on. And just been kind of like moving through the motions ever since. Yeah.
So I'm assuming you enjoy it though, that creative outlet.
Yeah, it's fun. And I've always been like a creative person. I think I just never found a way to like really tap into it because growing up, my mom always kept me so busy with stuff that like I never really had free time as a kid growing up. Like I think I didn't get my first ounce of like free time for real till I got to Spelman my freshman year. Like that was the first time I really had like time to hang out with friends and like go out to eat for real. Like I would do certain small stuff, but all of my closest friends, we shared activities with each other. Like my best friend from high school, we were in National Charity League together. We played club water polo together. So like our friend moments was like, all right, I'm about to ride with Alex to practice and spend the night before our tournament tomorrow. Like all of our stuff was together. So it was easy for us to keep our relationship. But without us sharing those activities, I probably wouldn't be as close to my best friend. Like I was always busy growing up. I never had free time.
Sure. One thing that I was really, really like interesting to me when you're telling your story about how you get into creative directing was your courage. Like you just asked, like, yo, can I get your number? Yo, I just want to shadow you. Have you always been like that, or did you kind of develop that?
Okay, this is actually like a funny story. I think my mom wouldn't mind me telling it, but my mom is actually kind of shy a little bit. Like, she's outgoing now and like with her family, obviously she is, but my mom's not really like the social type person. So when me and my sister were younger, like growing up, she kind of conditioned us to be like this because she didn't want us to be afraid to talk to people how she was. So like when I was like 4 years old or like 5 years old, my mom would watch me and tell me to go up to people in the store, like, go ask them where the oranges are, go ask them where da-da-da is. And so like I've always been conditioned to like be able to speak. My dad's like the same way. Like my dad could sell water to a fish. Like he calls himself an orator. Like he's able to talk his ass off basically. So I think it's always been important because closed mouths really don't get fed. And like when you think about it, even now, like when I go out to certain events and stuff, I'll see a person and I'll know exactly what they do and like have a background of like who they are and stuff. And I might not waste my time talking to them unless I know I could like actually like, what's the example for it? I have to know it makes sense even introducing myself to them. Like, what is the point of me talking to this person? Like, what benefit is it going to be mutual? Like, what's the reason for it? I don't just talk just because, but like, I definitely believe that when I leave a room, what have I gained from that room? Like,
You have to give value, and you have to add value.
yeah, that's for sure. I've always been like this though. I think I've always been able to talk to people just because I know that like that's the only way you could like get stuff really. Like if you don't say anything, you're not gonna get shit.
Yeah,
So,
you can't be mad if you don't
You
get
never
nothing
asked
because you ain't
for
asked
it.
for nothing.
Yeah.
yeah, that's like my biggest thing. I think that's probably why I've gotten a lot of the things that I have gotten in life is just because I'm not afraid to just like talk to people. Because the worst they're gonna do is tell you no or not right now. And then when you ask them again in the next month or year, they might remember you from how long ago that you asked them for something. Damn, she been wanted this. Like, I just talk. I just ask. Yeah.
Fuck with it. I definitely fuck with it. Yeah, I had a question. It just blanked. Well, it just blanked on me real
Well,
quick.
I do have a question. So,
Yeah.
can you tell me more about Creative Row? And I know that you are the creative director for Creative Row, correct?
No. So I do social media management and I help my boss with like other stuff. This is gonna sound, how do I feel like I do, not that I do so much, but I feel like I've been around so long from when the company had just started out to when like I feel like I'm kind of like interchangeable with different stuff. So like whatever Daps kind of needs my help with, I'm like there to help him with at this point. Like
Gotcha.
this is my third year, 18. Oh, fourth year. As long as my fourth year. Wow.
No, man.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of just whatever he needs help with at this point. He travels a lot. So I'm like primarily in Atlanta. I don't really travel for shoots. But I'll like get the files and organize them and stuff.
Oh, that's fun though. That content creation aspect.
Yeah, it's fun, but I feel like I like it because I feel like it's opened a lot of doors for me to like do other stuff. I think a lot of people in the entertainment industry, you kind of have to have multiple streams of income or like different jobs and put your foot in like several different paths because you really don't know which one is really gonna like hit for real. Like I think that I follow my passion and I always believe that the money's just gonna follow. And so far it's kind of been working like that. I think that nothing has been planned to a T. When you're doing entrepreneurial stuff or like just things that aren't by the book or like a specific actual job or task, you kind of wear just several hats and like just wait and see which one is gonna take you in a certain direction.
Yeah. And speaking of keeping multiple streams of income and it opening doors for you, you also intern with Milano de Rouge. Did I pronounce it right? De Rouge?
Milano de Rouge, yes.
Rouge.
Uh-huh.
What was that like? One, how did you even get the opportunity? But then two, what was it like working with her? We recently went to a conference, Invest Fest, and where we saw her. Well, I was introduced to her for the first time. I didn't really know much about her. And I was like, oh wow, like she's out here making like big strides, doing big things.
Yeah. She's actually like one of my like favorite like people. Like just her story and the success that she's amassed so far is just honestly, when I first started working for them in 2019, I had DM'd their Instagram page. People don't know that. That was that. Like I DM'd the page, asked for email. I had sent them over like my resume and I make like advertisement decks, like visuals. And so I had made like a visual resume, like a visual like cover letter or whatever. I don't know I'll show it to you guys later. But I had made like a deck and I had sent it over to them and she asked me what city I was going to be in this summer. I said I was going back to LA and their showroom was in LA at the time. So I was like, all right, like I'll just drive in. I was driving from Long Beach to downtown LA, like to do stuff for the showroom. Then that summer she had gotten, I don't know if booked is the correct word for it, but the BET Awards had asked her to be a part of their fashion experience. So I had worked the expo with them and helped like put together the show, do behind the scenes content and just help with like assistant work and stuff. That was my first year doing stuff with them. Then I transitioned into like on-call roles and doing shoots in Atlanta with them. And when I would go back to LA, I would do shoots with them as well. She's probably one of my most like pivotal mentors in the sense that what she says, I feel like I hold a lot of value to it just because like when you watch somebody that's like a Black woman create a a life like that, it's just so much more awe-inspiring. I had never gone to Philly before until recently. I had gone to Philly a couple of weeks ago, and seeing Philadelphia like firsthand, like in person. I'm from the suburbs. I'm from Orange County. Like
It's a
the
whole
environment that
world,
I'm
isn't
from, if you're from Orange County, I think you're like in the top 10% of wealth in the world. Like just from that the zip codes that are held within Orange County, you're automatically like within the top 10% of wealth in the whole entire world by just default from where you live. When I went to Philly, I've never seen some of that shit in my whole entire life. Like, and I mean that with like the most respect. Like the people that come out of like inner cities like that, I have a different level of like respect for people like that that build the life of their dreams, because you have almost every single, what is it, you have so many odds placed against you just from birth. Like I think I took for granted a lot of the stuff that I thought was like normal for my life until I really even got to Spelman, honestly. Like I remember being in ADW and like girls talking about certain stuff they went through growing up, and like I hadn't even heard of that stuff. I would go back to the room and cry calling my mom, because like it was just from a different world. Like literally everything was just like, what the like I didn't even know people live like this. So
Yeah.
I think mainly part of my experience with Milano DeRouge and like seeing that full circle moment when I flew up there and like went, it made me put way more value to her. Like she's already been a valuable mentor, but like just seeing that's where you came from and like you really created this life for you, nothing but respect. Like she really worked her ass off. She started selling t-shirts out the back of her trunk. Like that's crazy. To like, I'll be on set with her now, multi-million-dollar rental home for like this 5 shoot, just looks for days scheduled to shoot. And it's like, you really built this from the ground up from your trunk. Like, how could you not be inspired by that? So
Yeah.
that's what I think my most like beneficial thing has been from being around Milano DeRouge and like the brand and everything. Even the women that she has working for her, like some of the most smart Black women, the most hardworking Black women. Like it's just inspiring to be around every single time I work with them or go to shoot with them. Like every single time, it's just valuable.
Yeah, I remember when Milano, like, I'm from Philly, and I remember when Milano first started like blowing up, and you see people in Milano DeRouge t-shirts, and like that was, you wear your Gucci, you Louis, your Pradas, but then you see like, oh, you got Milano t-shirt, yeah, that means like you getting a little money now, and it was like she transitioned to sweatshirts, then jumpsuits, and it was like,
Bikinis,
damn.
everything, cups, like candles, she has it all. But the thing is, for me, I feel like when I went up there, so in LA, we have Skid Row. That's like our like Skid Row is where people go to chase their dreams. They end up on Skid Row and like it's just over with. When I went up there, one of my friends, he was like, we're on the phone. I had a bad experience when I went, basically. So they ended up saving me from the airport. I'm at the airport and I'm like, I want to get like a Philly cheesesteak. I've never had one before, like from Philly. Like, let's just go around. So he calls our mutual friend. We're like on the car phone, just talking, like, where should I take her? Like, we have one day, her flight's not till later. Like, where should I take her? And so he goes, take her to Kensington Beach. And I was like, oh yeah, like I want to see a beach. Right? And so
I don't even know what that is, but I know Philly ain't got no beach.
I was like, yeah,
Oh, he's
like,
drunk.
sure.
This nigga's is drunk.
So I'm like, we're driving around and I start like looking out the window and stuff like, God, like, where are we at? Like, what is this? And he was like, this is Kensington Beach. And I was like, what? No, so that was like my thing to be like this, the world is just different. Like I had never seen anything like that in my whole entire life. Like that was an eye opener for me. I'll never be ungrateful for anything. Like, no, but that was my one thing where that was just too close. Like that in proximity to the whole city and like us just driving around and like Macy's is right down the street, basically. Like that is just wild to me. I had never seen anything like it ever before. But yeah, I have a different level of respect from people from like inner cities like that now, for sure. Like most definitely. That is different.
How did you transition over to now Rolling Papers and your SMAK'D brand? Which one, I'm a graphic designer. I love the branding. Like
Thank you.
love how it's pieced together. I don't know.
I did it myself, actually.
That is it's really good. Like I really, really like it. How did you transition over to Rolling Papers and wanting to step into like the cannabis industry?
Okay, so honestly, you know how like they have that saying that is like, as a Black woman, like when stuff starts bothering you and like it's just too much going on, it's like, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Yes.
This is kind of one of those projects, honestly. So I knew I wanted to work in entertainment, and I'm not gonna lie, it's actually really hard to get a job in entertainment. Like, you can work projects, you can get booked for like shoots and shows, but like to get hired as like a coordinator or get hired as like a director or get hired like to have an actual role at like a music label, I feel like it's actually like harder than people would like assume it to be. I was applying for so many jobs and I wasn't getting hired to anything. Like, that sounds wild. Like, I was literally emailing people that I had met like on set, like, hey, can you contact like HR? Like, is there a direct email? Like, is there any job listings that were posted? Like, what has been listed that's not on the website yet? Like, I was literally trying to get a job. It was during COVID, so I knew that like a bunch of stuff was going on in the world and like a lot of stuff was delayed. I had probably got 2 or 3 job offers that were like, once COVID is like more like stable and like we know what direction the world is going in, we'll get back to you and like we'll pick back up from there. Never heard anything back. And I kind of just started getting like a little depressed, honestly, because I kind of was just like, what am I about to do? Like, I need to get a job. I need to like start making money. Like, what am I gonna do?
Bro, life still goes on. Yeah.
I had got hired, or not even hired. So I created a LinkedIn account because I just was like, I need to get on LinkedIn a little bit more. I had an account from school, but it wasn't specific to me. It was like I did it for a school project just to get the points, and I didn't really keep up with it. I didn't update any photos. And so I made a completely new LinkedIn account. Some company had reached out to me. They told me that they were hiring for a female rapper personal assistant. I had done assistant work before. When I had my internship at Mean Street, I used to do intern work at Mean Street Studios. And I used to do personal assistant work for an A&R, and he ended up opening his own publishing company. His name is Talk. And so I was doing assistant work for him. He used to work for Dream Chasers. And I felt like it was easy. Like, I was making runs, doing administrative work, sending emails, booking flights. I would go to the studio sometimes. He asked me to roll up for him. I would roll up for him. Like, here's a blunt, like just normal assistant type stuff. And then one day I had came home from literally a long day, and the paper that I was using, it wouldn't seal right. Like, it was kind of like bothering me. I knew the blunt wasn't gonna hit right. And when you start smoking, you know that like you want it specific to be a certain type of way. Like, even when you roll it a certain way, like somebody passed you the blunt, they didn't roll it right, you might look at it like, I don't even want this. Like, it's a waste of weed. Like, that's how you might look at it a little bit. So I was frustrated with that. And then the next day I had an interview to be this artist's personal assistant. I signed an NDA, so I can't say who it was, but it was like a artist I would have been excited to work for. Her manager was somebody that I would have really wanted to work for at the time. Still probably would a little bit, truthfully, but it was just, during the interview, I felt like she was so disinterested in me. Like, all the questions that they were asking me were very like, it had nothing to do with the job role. I felt like it was more so them being inquisitive about me. However, I understood it because I was like, okay, well, maybe since I'm going to be a personal assistant, that means I'm going to be around a lot. They just want to know what type of person I am. Like, I was trying to find different ways to think about the whole entire situation. So towards the end of the interview, I had asked the artist, like, do you have any questions? Because like her manager kind of was talking the whole time. I was like, do you have any questions for me? And she looked me dead in my face and was like, you know how to roll blunts? That's all she asked me. And so I looked at her and I was like, yeah. But like, I wasn't smoking like that at the time. And I didn't want to come off as like some like pothead. So like in the interview, when she asked me if I knew how to roll blunts, I kind of thought it was like a trick question a little bit. And I kind of just like smiled and was like, yeah, like I said it kind of like soft. She was like, oh, okay, bet that's it. And I was like, okay, so like, when am I gonna be like hearing from you? Like, I thought that it was like in the bag, basically. And she's like, well, we'll probably get back to you in like a week or two. I was like, okay. And so a week or two went by and I didn't hear anything. And so I had reached back out to the company that had set up the interview that like found me on LinkedIn. And they were just like, well, they decided to go in a different direction. And I was just like, damn, like, okay. So I was sitting there and I kind of was just like, you've just applied for like probably over like 20 or 30 jobs. Even though the period that the world was in was not like a normal job market, I still felt like defeated. I still felt like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't really know what direction my life is going in. And so I kind of sat there and I was just like, these papers suck. Like, I was still like, I want to roll up. Like, it was just like, it wasn't a good day. I had went to hang out with one of my friends and I was just like, yeah, backwood. backwood fucked up, holes all in it. Like, it was just like, damn, like, what are you passionate about? And I remember when I had the last time I had talked to Milan from Milano de Rouge, I had told her, I was like, I'm really trying to figure out what I want to do, but like I've been applying to these jobs. She had asked me to like tell her what all I was good at, like everything basically. And she told me that she would make a job for me. Like if I wanted to move back to LA, she would make a job for me. And this was around like February, I think. I had sat there and I kind of was just like, you don't really want to move back home. Like, there was no part of me that wanted to go back to California at that time. My lease was almost over in Atlanta too, but I still just was like, you don't really want to go nowhere.
This February 2021, like still in COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I kind of just was like, all right, start booking people for your personal shoots. Cause I already knew how to make the treatments. I already knew I had the vision for actual shoots. Like I knew what I wanted stuff to look like. I do my own creative shoots. And so I got my LLC. It was like MaK Parks LLC. And so that's what I started doing, that as just like hiring people, and like people would reach out to me and book me for their shoots. So then when I further like sat on it, I kind of was just like, damn, like people call you all the time and ask you for advice. They ask you like, who do I contact for this? Like, how do I do this? And I'm like, you're so valuable as a person, like monetize yourself. What's fun for you?
Yeah.
And so then I started doing my research on the papers. I wanted to do a grabba leaf at first. It's hard to find a grabba leaf manufacturer. And so I was like, let me start with the papers then. And I started with the rolling papers. And then I like got the dimensions and like started, like, I know how to work on Canva. So I got the dimensions and like made the packaging myself. Found the formula for the papers that I liked. I sampled them for a minute. And then slowly but surely just like started getting stuff together, like getting my LLC, trademarking the name, getting my EIN number, business account, just everything to make it like legit. Yeah. And I'm just gonna like follow it. I want to wipe out raw papers.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Was it difficult to kind of get everything set up, or was it like because you already had so much of the knowledge and so much experience, it was kind of like just fell into place?
I'm not gonna lie. No, this shit's hard as fuck. Like, I'll be completely honest. Like, it's not hard, but it's not for everybody. You have to be a self-starter. You have to get up and know you have to get certain things done. It's hard because you never know what's going to happen that day when you wake up. Like, I've woken up and like been so excited that like, oh, my package is going to come in. It's going to be da-da-da-da-da. And you just waited 2 weeks for a package to get shipped from overseas. You open it up and it's not what you've been waiting for. So like, it's just a bunch of stuff. But one day I called Daps and I was freaking out because I was just kind of like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And he was like, go watch what I posted on TikTok. And I thought he was being funny. Like, I thought he was like being annoying. Like, why am I about to go look at your TikTok? And he had posted, I'll send it to you guys too. It was this clip. It was a triangle and it was fast. Let me find it actually. It was like fast, easy, and slow, I think. Or it was 3 topics. And basically the video was just saying, if you have to pick between all 3 of these, like you literally have to pick 2. You'll never get all 3. Like no matter how much you want it to be all 3, you'll never get all 3 because it's not, the world isn't set up to let you have all 3. Let me find it so I can get it right. Okay, it's good, fast, cheap. If it's good and it's fast, it's not going to be cheap. Mm-hmm. If it's cheap and it's good, it's not going to be fast. If it's fast and it's cheap, it's not going to be good. So it's just like a triangle effect to everything. And like, I have to like find a mental state to just be okay with no matter how stuff goes, to just like keep it rolling. My friend Claycy, it's this movie called Snow in the Bluff. Mm-hmm. You know, yeah. So, you know, in the beginning when he was like, no matter what, keep this motherfucker rolling. Yeah. That's every day you wake up, keep this shit going. That's really just
right there. What keeps you pushing? What keeps that drive? Like, how do you stay motivated even when you don't feel like doing it?
I know the life I want. Like, it really is that. I could see it. Like, you know how people say they see things in color and like it sounds like kind of like, oh, like it sounds like crazy. I really could see it. Like, I know it's gonna happen. Like that sounds like actually like wow. You might be like, oh, like she's a little crazy.
No, that's literally
Yeah,
how
yeah.
I view my life too. And he views his life like I
Like,
can feel
I can
it.
see it. Like I really feel like I'm sitting in like my pre-rich era, and it's just like I'm cooling right now. Like I don't go out too much, and like I'm fine with that because I feel like I'm putting in like the work. Like when I wake up one day and it's like, okay, when I wake up one day and I'm like sitting in front of it all, I'm gonna sit and be like, this is why I did that. Like, you know, like it's gonna feel good. Even I had told Milan last time I saw her. So we had a shoot in LA a couple months ago and I was back home for it. And so I think it was in West Hollywood and I was going back to my mom's house. My mom stays out by Palm Springs. And so I was on set. The set ran over like a couple hours and I was just like, damn, I don't want to drive home because I knew it was like an hour and a half, like 2-hour drive. And I was like, I don't really feel like making that drive. And so Milan was like, where are you driving to? And I was like, I have to drive back to my mom's house. And she goes, why don't you just stay here? And I looked at her and I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? This house was like a house in the hills, fat as fuck, infinity pool. Like, it was nice. And so I was just like, what do you mean I could stay here? She was like, well, I rented the house for like the full like day. So I have it till tomorrow, but I'm going home and I don't want you driving like that. You could just stay. And I was just like, okay.
Wow, the
And
moment like a dream situation.
yeah. And so I literally that night I helped her pack up everything. Her assistant Taylor, me and her are actually like good friends. Like I really like Taylor a lot. She has her own company called T-Box. She sells like it's jewelry. It's real jewelry, but it's at a reasonable price. It doesn't tarnish. So I had told her I'm gonna end up staying, FaceTimed her. I laid in the house and I took a shower in the shower was the size of my bedroom. It was a full granite like room. It was just like the craziest bathroom I've ever been in. Like literally the whole entire bathroom was like marble granite, like marble walls, marble, like it was just nice. And so I took a shower in this room, basically, steam room, got out the shower, laid in this like California king bed and looked out. You could see Capitol Records from the like wall, like the whole entire like wall was just like glass windows. And I could see Capitol Records, sunset, like I see like just the hills, the lights, like everything. And I was just laying there like, wow, like you really could live this life because it exists. You know who Lisa Nichols is?
No, the name doesn't sound familiar.
Lisa Nichols, she's a motivational speaker, self-help. She writes like books and does like public speakings and stuff. Okay. And I used to watch her videos. I watched like all types of like different like mental type things just to like get my brain moving a little bit. And she had in one of her videos, she was talking about how when she would go to these nice events and like galas and stuff, she would always touch on everything, like $12,000 couches and stuff. She would rub on it a little bit, not in like a creepy like thing, but like she would go buy it. It's like she would touch it a little bit, she would rub it a little bit, and in her head, that was just her telling herself that like you could get it, like you could materialize that, like it was there, it existed. Like if somebody else could afford it and get it and buy it, why can't you?
Yeah.
So I really laid there in that moment on like some, all right, like it's time to get to work a little bit. And I had talked to her about the rolling papers then, and I had talked to another guy on set and told him I was about to do it, but I didn't have any samples or anything yet. I was just like thinking of it all in my head. And then when I got back to Atlanta, I kind of was just like, let's do it. And then it was a bunch of factors. I was actually going through a lot in my life at this time point, and everything just kind of all clicked at once to be like, all right, like let's get this shit together. So yeah.
For sure. Before we wrap up, I do have one more question because like just sitting here, just talking to you, you can see how impactful the power of mentorship was for you. I know you talked about Milan, and I know you probably have a plethora of other women mentors. We didn't even get into that side of just like your whole boss women, lifestyle. But what do you look for in a mentor? Somebody's listening right now, they're hearing what you're talking about. They're like, damn, this is valuable to me. I want to find somebody that might be of value to me as well. What do you look for in a mentor?
Okay, so first off, I don't take advice from everybody. My biggest thing is if I can't see myself living the life that like you're speaking to me on, then I'm not going to listen to you talk about it. Like that's the same thing for like when I'm sitting in a group with my friends and they're telling me not to deal with somebody. You haven't had a boyfriend in 6 years. Why I'm about to listen to you? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just certain small stuff like that. So when I hear people like walk in their stuff, like there's not anything that I feel like Milan could tell me that I wouldn't really listen to, because it's like I've watched her create it for herself.
Right.
That's one thing. And secondly, I feel like you need to know for sure what you want to do personally. Like, you might see somebody and it might look like they have a lit life, or like they're outside a lot and like they're in the mix, but like you could idolize somebody that really doesn't do shit at all. Like, you don't know what people are doing. Social media really is like fake. Like,
I like
I hate to say that, but like, you post what you want people to see. Like, you literally display the life that you want everybody to think you have. Like, I haven't posted a normal photo on Instagram in a minute because I haven't been going out. I haven't done anything. Like, I've really just been focused on like my business for real. But I feel like I don't feel bad about that because I'm putting my energy towards other things.
And you should.
Girls from Spelman will message me sometimes, or like DM me and ask me like, I want you to like mentor me, or like, can you give me any advice? And like, I'll really tell them like, honestly, no, but like, tell me what you want to do and I might point you in the right direction. Cause I feel like people see me post celebrities and stuff, but they don't really know what I actually do with them. So it's kind of like, you just like the way it looks.
You want
And I
to
don't really like, yeah, and I don't want to like go for that. But if you tell me specifically like what you want to do, I'll DM somebody that I'm friends with that does it and be like, hey, like, it's this girl that XYZ, like, can you help her out? If not, then like I'll tell her no. But like, it's just, I think people have been super into just trying to jump on bandwagons or jump on people's like clout trains, and people don't want to actually put in the work. And like, I don't even feel comfortable fully saying that because I don't even think that I've put in all my work yet. But like, I know that you have to put in like the hours to like get the results that you want. Just make sure that person is a legit worker. Like, make sure their reputation is like solid, I guess. I wouldn't be opposed to doing free work at first, but still know your value. Don't do that forever. Don't sit and let people take advantage or use you. But you have to get your foot in the door some way. I don't know. I guess that's the main one, is just like putting in like the work and like knowing the person that you're working for, and like seeing if it really is like a valuable use of your time.
For sure. That's a bag drop right there. That's that. We going to end the episode right there. Michaela, thank you. Well, Max, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for just coming and gracing our platform today. I feel like anybody who listens is going to learn a whole lot from you. If people want to keep up with you, where can they follow you at on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram at MaK Parks, MaKParkSS. And then I have both of my jobs in my bio, so you guys can follow those pages too.
And you guys, make sure you check out her page for her SMAK'D rolling papers. I don't know if you want to show us real quick.
I need to give you some because I've been trying to get you some. Well, I guess I'll do these. These are
talk us through it. Talk us, like, you selling this to our audience.
Okay. So I wish I had some trash papers to show you the difference. All right, let me get this pack because I already been using this one. So it's called SMAK'D papers. These are 100% organic. I have hemp papers as well. These are like the green pack. So when you go to the website, it'll be like a brown circle and a green circle. That's like the differentiation. I like my papers because the adhesive is strong on it, but it's all natural. So it's not like it's going to taste gross or anything. But if you like go to seal it. And then you got to try to open it. It's not going to open.
Okay.
Hey, the other papers, they don't hold like that. The other papers don't do the same thing. And then I even have smack facts on the back. So when you get high, you guys can converse with your friends about some of the facts on the back.
Are there different facts all the time, or is
I'm going to start rotating them out. So there are going to start being different facts. Right now, they're not, but I already have them like pre-drafted. I just have to place on order. And then the website is www.areyousmacked.com. So I said it's designed by science, but derived by nature because it's all natural. It's non-GMO, vegan, unbleached papers, and the natural adhesive on it as well. And so I hope you guys really like them. I've been trying to get them into smoke shops. So that's my next step right now. It should be coming soon. But yeah, I'm excited. Atlanta right now, I've already got it into 5 states, I think. I have it in New Jersey. Well, I've shipped to New Jersey, Texas, Arizona, California, and Florida. So, and in Georgia, 6. So we're 6 states in, and we just launched on the 12th. So that's very exciting. And I hope that you guys can watch it grow. Yeah.
Joe,
Yes.
wishing you all the best, all the absolute wishes in the world. Chase, where can the people find you at on the socials?
You guys can find me at Jasia Robinson, Jasia Robinson, like Jackie, on all social media platforms. And you?
Find me on all platforms at Ian A. Barrett, 2 R's, 2 T's, and an underscore at the end.
And make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment and rate this podcast. We know you love this episode. We love this episode. We thank you so much, MaK, for coming on. And make sure you guys keep up with Beat the Maze podcast. We'll be back again next Monday at 8 a.m. on the dot.
See you next time. Have a good one.